What's up, everyone? Mike Morrison here, founder of Membership Geeks and Membership Academy, and your host for the #1 podcast for membership site owners. If you're brand new to the show, if you are newly discovering the Membership Geeks podcast, first of all, welcome. I'm so glad you've stumbled across us. You have just uncovered a treasure trove of 10 years of membership insights and advice, over 400 episodes of proven practical tips and strategies for planning, building, launching, running, and growing a successful membership business. I do hope you enjoy what you hear, and you enjoy it so much that you hit the subscribe button to ensure you do not miss a single episode in the future. If you've been listening to us for a while, you know I love and appreciate you. Every second of attention you can give, all the great feedback. If you have a moment or two, I would also love and so appreciate if you could take the time to leave a nice shiny 5-star review, ideally 5 stars, to let us know how the podcast has helped you. Not only does it let me know I'm doing my job right, it also helps us reach more people and help more memberships. And that really is what we do this for. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's the whole thing. That's what we've been doing for a decade. So yes, if you do leave a review, please do let me know. Hit me up on social media to let me know you've reviewed so I can thank you personally. I do read each and every one, and they honestly mean so much. So today I'm talking all about how to make key connections within your industry that will benefit your membership. So what do I mean about benefit your membership? Well, if you can make connections to certain figures in your industry, they could potentially be guest experts that you bring in to teach within your membership, maybe people who come in to take part in a roundtable discussion or a Q&A. There might be people who actually create courses or workshops that you put into your membership. So there's a lot of membership owners, a lot of models that benefit from, or that are largely centered around the idea of having outside experts as contributors. But of course, you need to make the connections to actually bring those people in, right? You need to find the people you want to bring in. And quite often, just asking cold isn't the optimal way to do it. Now, even if you don't have a membership that would benefit from guest experts, making key connections in your industry can be helpful in so many ways, whether that is opening up opportunities for joint ventures. Perhaps it is bringing in people who could become affiliates, who could mention and promote your membership within their content to their audience. Or it might be people who have a platform where you could potentially get on their show, get on a webinar, get on their live stream, guest blog, and get in front of their audience with the hope of delivering value to them and building that affinity with them so they want to know more from you. They come into your world and ultimately they join your membership. So there's a lot of benefits to really decisively and intentionally making key connections and building those relationships within your industry. And then there's obviously the side benefits, the additional benefit. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely world. Even if you're running a membership site, there's so much that you're doing that isn't with other people. Of course, when you're in your community, when you're doing your live calls, when you're replying to posts, you're with your people, but you're also there serving them. Everything else is quite often just done in isolation. And you maybe don't feel like you have enough peers who you can talk to, you can vent to. So again, connections can turn into strong relationships and friendships that can just benefit you personally and enrich your life as an entrepreneur. So there's a lot of reasons why you would seek out key connections within your industry. But how do you actually do that? Well, a lot of it does depend on the type of connections you want to make. If you are just looking to expand your network, turn to your existing network, turn to people you already know, and actually ask them if there's anyone that they feel they could introduce you to. If there's something specific you're looking for, if you are looking for guest tutors, if you're looking for people who have podcasts, again, reach out to your existing contacts and ask them, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm hoping to achieve. These are the kind of people I'd like to be connected to. Is there anyone you think it's worth me having a conversation with? And if so, would you mind making an introduction? A lot of networks are built that way. A lot of initial intros that evolve into strong connections go through that path. It's people who know people connecting them together. It's mutual friends that, again, have an interest in seeing two people doing really well and can see the strong reasons for them actually being introduced, right? So reach out to your existing networks for connections and just send them an email, send them a voice note. Just put the ask out there. They might not know anybody that actually fits the bill of what you're looking for, but if you're clear and if it's made obvious to them that they are safe making that introduction, that they're not going to connect you up and then you're suddenly going to turn into this big, raging, salesy monster that's going to essentially embarrass them and affect their relationship with that person. But, hopefully, if you're reaching out to your existing network, your existing friends and connections, they'll know you enough. If you trust them enough to ask them, they should know and trust you enough to trust that you're not going to do that. So, first way of making those connections, reach out to your existing network. Another way is to attend events within your industry. Now, most conferences and stuff like that that have talks, they have education material, they'll have workshops, they'll have exhibitors. That's usually not where the magic of events actually happens. Yes, usually you'll go to an event to watch a particular speaker or to learn some stuff, but the real magic usually happens outside of that. It'll happen in the social events. It'll happen in the bars and the cafes after the sessions, in between the sessions. The people that you meet, usually that's where you're getting the real value, making those connections. Once again, having some clarity on the kind of connections you're looking to make, the sort of opportunities you're hoping to create, but not going in there just laser focused on that. It's good to have that clarity for yourself, but one of the worst things that can happen at events is you get talking to someone and you can kind of see the moment where they think in their head, okay, this isn't someone I can sell to, or this isn't someone who can do something for me, and their attention just switches. You don't want to be that person. Everybody knows someone. You don't know how valuable or how connected the person you're talking to is. And as we said before, one of the best ways of making connections is to have someone else connect you. You might be speaking to someone who maybe isn't suitable for being a guest tutor or a guest coach in your membership, but perhaps they know 20 people who would be. So never discount anyone. Don't go into events and networking events and conferences. Don't go into those just looking to hoover up contacts and looking at people with, dollar signs or pound signs over their heads. Actually get to know people. Get to know them without an agenda. Having clarity, knowing what you would like to achieve on a broader scale by expanding your network is a good thing, but don't let that set an agenda for your interactions with people at events. So go to conferences, go to industry networking meetings, get out there, meet people. Ideally in person, because the real magic can happen when you're there in person, but virtually as well. And even if you're introverted, that doesn't mean that you can't still do this. It might be a little more exhausting. I'm definitely an introvert, so make sure you factor in some rest time and recovery time for yourself after the event to recharge your social battery. But getting out there and attending events is a good way of meeting new people. If you are looking to be connected to essentially experts within the field, people who maybe might be further down the road, more prolific, have a bigger audience, harder to connect with, then just attending an event or just asking your existing connections to introduce you to, the big names within your industry, that might not do it. It probably isn't going to do it. So there's a few things you can do there that can make it more likely you'll be able to connect with these people. First thing, if it's someone who's a content creator, actually consume their content. Pay attention to what they're doing. Be interested. Listen to their podcast. Read their blog. Become part of their audience. Get within their sphere. If they have a membership, honestly, one of the quickest routes to get connected with a bigger name in your industry is to become a customer of theirs, become a member in particular, because if they are doing things right, they'll be present, they'll be active within their own membership. And if you're contributing in there positively and you are a member who they enjoy having, who brings good things to the community, you'll stand out, you'll be noticed, and you have that kind of connection, you have that association, you have that little bit of affinity with them already by virtue of being in their world, consuming their content, and ideally being in their membership. Another thing that you can do kind of moving on from this, developing from this, not just consume their content, not just become a student, but become a star pupil. Now, don't worry, this sounds a little bit more like sucking up than it is, but what you could do if this is someone who teaches specific things within your industry, actually incorporate what they teach, like use their strategies, execute on the things that they're telling you to do. There's a lot of thought leaders, experts, and influencers out there who teach best practices, they teach techniques and stuff. And it can be a little frustrating because you don't always know when someone is following up, when someone's using your advice. And quite often people will be out there, they'll be using your advice and you'll never hear about it. If you have a membership, you might hear it from your members. But even then, people are getting on with their own things. You don't always know that people are actually executing on the things that you're teaching, that they're using your advice. So when somebody does stand out and kind of comes to you as an expert, as an influencer and says, hey, I did this course that you put out. I listened to this podcast series. I watched this YouTube video. I followed it step by step. Here are the results that I got. This is what I did. This is what I created. This is the outcome. Look how great this is. As an expert, as a thought leader, as a content creator, we love that. I love nothing more than finding out someone has followed what I've taught to the letter and they've got great results from it. So if you can be that star pupil, that instantly puts you on the radar of even some of the biggest names. And if you can go to them and actually show the work you've done and show the results that you've been able to get, that opens doors. You'll see a lot of the bigger names in certain industries, they will bring people onto their podcast. They will feature them on their blog. They will get them on webinars. They'll, even if they're not getting them in person, they'll have slides in their presentations and courses where they use them as examples. They might put them on their sales page. Like experts, influencers, teachers, educators, they want proof. They want to be able to show the world proof that they know what they're talking about. And so if you can be that star pupil and you can volunteer this information to them, you can be a living case study for them that puts you on the radar, that potentially puts you on their platform as well. And that means you're going to be having conversations. You're more connected with them, and who knows where things can go from there. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that we did very early on, and this was how we were able to build big connections. If you have a podcast, if you have a platform of your own, invite people on as a guest. Now, not every big name, you don't always have to go for the big names. You can go for people who still have larger audiences, they're more prolific, they're better known, they've maybe been doing it a longer time than you. Perhaps they're not, the top, most well-known people in your space, but they still have a good, passionate audience. Like, get those people on your podcast as guests, interview them, feature them in some way. Now, obviously, you're getting content from that, but when you invite someone on the podcast, yes, of course, you're going to be interviewing them about their topic or whatever. You're not bringing them on and then essentially using that as an opportunity for you to pitch them on how, great it would be if they were your best friend. But the thing is, you invite someone on a podcast, you're having exchanges beforehand. When you actually, bring them onto the Zoom call or whatever tech you're using to record the interview, you have a good 5 minutes or so beforehand, you'll have a few minutes after, and you can just chat. You can just talk. Again, you're not bringing them in so you can, be their bestie and chat away at length forever. You don't want to waste their time, but the before and the after, again, it's an opportunity to actually be human with them, and to just talk, to just chat. And that can lead to other things. You can mention at the end of a podcast interview, oh, hey, I've actually got a membership. It would be great if somewhere down the line, we can maybe see whether or not there's an opportunity for you to come in and perhaps do a little, workshop or something like that. You can put an idea, you can float that idea out there. And having just gone through an interview, having just sat through 30 to 40 minutes of a conversation with you, at that point, they're going to be a little more receptive to it. If you follow up via email, again, not being heavy sales, not being pushy, but if you follow up via email, they're going to know who you are. You've got the context, you've got the reasoning. There'll be things from your conversation, from your interview, that give valid reasons for you to follow up, for you to talk more. Oh, hey, we talked about this. Actually, I found this really good article you might like. Or actually, I was thinking of putting together a little training about this. Could we maybe feature you on it, a little 5-minute soundbite? Opportunities open up as a result of inviting someone to be on your platform. Because if they have a bigger audience, if they are a bigger name, them being on your podcast probably does a little less for them than it does for you, but it still does something for them. But more than anything, it puts you in the same space virtually. And if you're in that same space, you have that connection, opportunities come up and things can grow from it. So that's just some of the ways that you can aim to build key connections within your industry that will benefit your membership, whether that is trying to just find people who could be good as guests for experts, tutors, coaches, that sort of thing, or whether it's, potential affiliates, joint ventures, maybe podcast hosts, popular bloggers where you want to get on their platform. All sorts of big reasons why being well connected and having a strong network can really benefit your membership business. And hopefully some of the tips I've shared will help you in starting to make those key connections. That's it for this week. Hopefully you found today's episode useful. I'll be back again very soon with another installment of the Membership Geeks podcast. See you then. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. Membership Academy is the original membership about memberships, and it's the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a successful online membership business. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be and you need some help making it a reality, or whether your website is already up and running and you're looking for ways to grow and attract new members, then Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. Not only do you get access to our step-by-step membership roadmap, our extensive training library, and exclusive member-only discount and tools, you'll also become part of our supportive, active community of membership owners that will help you along the way in your journey with feedback, encouragement, and advice. All of this and more make Membership Academy the #1 place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out and join the community at membershipacademy.com.